Još jedno možda podsjećam samo za kolege koji su nam se sad priključili, ako su potrebne slušalice, uzmite ih, pa čini mi se da možemo da počnemo, jer čini mi se da smo se okupili. Naravno, dobrodošli su i ostale kolege da se vrate. Nadam se da vam je posluženje prijalo, da ste se malo odmorili i okrepili. Sada nastavljamo dalje sa programom i kao uvod u sesiju koja se zapravo i zove Karijerno, vođenje i savetovanje, evropske perspektive i novosti. Pomenula bih ono što verovatno mnogi od vas znaju, a to je da Euroguidance centar jeste jedan od centara koji postoji u čak još 35 drugih zemalja Evrope, jer je Euroguidance mreža koja okuplja te različite države i jedan od ciljeva, zajedničkih ciljeva svih tih različitih centara jeste informisanje zajednice karijernih praktičara o evropskoj dimenziji karijernog vođenja i savetovanja, a ovo praktično znači da negde jeste cilj našeg Euroguidance centra kao i ostalih Euroguidance centara da razmenjuju informacije o tome koje se to novine i na nivou politika i na nivou praksi dešavaju u oblasti karijernog vođenja i savetovanja na evropskom tlu generalno. I u sklopu toga naš centar nastoji da prosto da naši predstavnici budu prisutni, ali i kada smo u mogućnosti da omogućimo i učešće vas kao praktičara na različitim studijskim posetama, konferencijama internacionalnog karaktera i o nekim od ovakvih aktivnosti možete da čitate u onom biltenu koje smo već nekoliko puta pomenuli, a to je ono što smo realizovali u prethodnim godinama. I jedna od takvih inicijativa koje su evropskog pa čak i svetskog karaktera jeste EAVG konferencija, to je konferencija Svetske organizacije za karijerno vođenje i savetovanje i meni je zadovoljstvo da je danas sa nama koleginica Helena Koštalova koja dolazi iz Češke i koja zapravo je jedna od učesnika ove konferencije, inače karijerni praktičar sa dugogodišnjim iskustvom i ono što će ona moći da vam prenese danas jeste u stvari njen metod i njene tehnike rada koje ona primenjuje sa svojim učenicima, svojim korisnicima, ne samo učenicima, mada mnogi od njih i jesu negde srednjoškolskog uzrasta, tako da više o tome ćete od nje saznati. Tako da evo ja bih sada, I will give a floor to Helena to present her presentation on career guidance tools, creative career guidance tools. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to thank to the organizers for inviting me. And I'm actually really impressed. There are so many active practitioners and hope you are still full of energy after the nice lunch. So we can just, work together. So before I start my presentation, I would like to just briefly introduce what my context is. I come from the Czech Republic, Prague, and I work in an organization that is called AKS. We are really proud. We were 5 times awarded for the National Award of Career Guidance. And we are an independent, non-governmental organization. And what we do is that we provide direct work with clients. We work both with kids and adults on individual level as well as the group. And we also provide an in-service training for the professionals as you are. So we teach the teachers, psychologists, social workers, and others who are somehow connected to career guidance. And last but not least, we also produce our own books and methodologies. And if you are interested in that, you might easily download them in PDF form at our website. Some of them are in English and they are free, so please do it, use them. We'll be happy. So, and today, what I would like to do is to share with you my own experience with using creativity, creative activities in career development process. I would like to talk to you how and actually why to integrate creativity in the process. And because creativity and theory does not very much fit together, I would like also to invite you to be more active. And I prepared for you an activity that might be for you, useful for your daily work. And So later you will have some opportunity to also experience something, so you can try, and then we can discuss later how useful this can be for your daily practice. So let's start with a story. This is Sarah. Sarah is a 16-year-old girl, and she studies, she's in the first grade at the medical school, so maybe she will become a nurse. Actually, she chose the school randomly because during her studies at the primary school, she didn't have any strong interest. She did not know what to choose, but it was her grandma who told her that being a nurse is a nice job. And Sarah said to herself, well, why not? The uniform might fit me, so it might be a good idea. But now, after her first experience in a hospital, she realized that the job might be more difficult than she was able to imagine, and also the school appeared to be kind of demanding. So Sarah now is in doubts. She does not know what to do. She considers to leave her school. Of course, Sarah is not alone in that. There are a lot of people in her environment. It's her parents, father and the mother. Actually, they are divorced, and her father is an ambitious man, and he thinks that Sarah should stay at school because she might continue at the university and she might maybe become a doctor. On the other hand, her mother has a newborn baby with her boyfriend, and she thinks that maybe Sarah should leave the school because a helping hand might be useful. There's also the grandma I already mentioned. She thinks that being a nurse is really prestigious work, and also, she's getting older and older, and she thinks that Sarah might provide a professional help to her. This is her boyfriend, who actually is envy. He thinks that Sarah prefers school to him, and he would like to spend more time with Sarah. This is her teacher, who likes Sarah, and she would like Sarah to stay at school. And of course, there's also the headmaster who's pushing at the teacher and who's against any dropouts at school. And there are some friends. Some of them are the classmates, and they really would like Sarah to stay in the classroom. But some of them actually do not study at all. They just hang around, and they think the school is boring. And the life is about entertainment, isn't it? So let's try to imagine what kind of voices, what kind of quotations, what kind of sentences might Sarah hear. Might be, for example, oh, Sarah, I'm getting older and older, and my joints are painful. Oh, I will need your help. Or might be, hey, baby, you and me, I love you so much, and we could travel a lot. So, school's for nothing. Let's leave it, and let's be more together. Can you imagine any other voices? What can she hear? What, for example, her father or friends, what do they say? Any suggestions? Let's think of the voices. You can shout on me, even in Serbian. I try to understand.
We're shy. We are shy.
Oh, don't be, please. I'm not too. Yeah. But can you imagine the voices? Yes, yes. Yeah, might be. Oh, Sarah, you are such an important part of the classroom. We need you here, and you are such a smart student. Oh, Sarah, school's boring. Let's go for a discotheque. Leave it. What is important that there are really so many of them, of the voices. So, how do you think Sarah feels? How can she feel in this situation? She might feel maybe helpless, maybe tired, maybe she feels she's alone in her decision. She maybe does not know where to go. She might be probably tired of all this. So, how would you like Sarah to feel? Sorry? Powerful, yeah. Yes. So, why I'm asking is that it's your turn, career practitioners. It's you can help her. So this is one of the reasons why do I believe that career guidance should be at schools. Because, you know, the kids, they need really professional help. Of course, they have their relatives, but as you could see, their help might not be very useful sometimes. Because, you know, the parents, they sometimes do not have, like, the good information or the right information about the labor market. Also, their advices are full of emotions. Logically, they have to be, because the parents, they love the kid. So they are so much full of the emotions. And also the teachers or the parents, they will not train in critical thinking and critical reflection, as Siobhan mentioned in the morning. So they are very much overwhelmed with their own experience, and they look at the situation from their perspective. So this is why Sarah or the other kids need also your help. So what she does not need is any more talking head. I mean, she does not need more advices, because she's really full of it. And I don't want to say that giving information is not important. It is. But what Sarah really needs is to have some space to be able to think, to be able to use her inner world, to use her inner capacity, and to just, you know, to be able to think of all the information she gets, to sort it, to prioritize, and to find her own way where to go, where to continue, to be engaged actively in this. So, because there are always more than one option where to go, might be 2 of them, might be 3, might be 5, I don't know, but it should be the Sarah who is going to do the decision. So this is why we need to engage the kids in the process. So why I'm talking about it, and how is this linked to creativity? You all probably know that we have brain, and that our brain has 2 hemispheres, 2 parts of it. And if we are talking about the information, we use just our left part of the brain, which is not bad, but it's limited. So if we talk just we use facts, numbers, graphs, words, and that kind of information. If we are rational only, we do not use the whole capacity, and what Sarah and the other kids need is to be like more complete, and to be able to also use their inner world, their intuition, not only the rationality, but to find a way how the intuition could cooperate with the rationality. They have to find some bridges, some links between the inner and outer world, between the conscious and unconscious self. So if you try to include any kind of activity that activates the right side of the brain, it will help the kids to, you know, activate their inner world, their motivation, their values, their beliefs. If they will be able to realize what they really think deeply in their hearts. And as Albert Einstein said, knowledge is limited, imagination encircles the world. So, to sum up all this, why creativity in the career development process? So the reason why we all should do this is that it's a way to people's inner world, and by doing this, we help the students to understand what's really going on, what they really need, what are their beliefs, what are their values, what is their inner motivation, and also their self-esteem like rises up. when you use the creativity, you also include the emotions into the process, which means that not only the process become like more fun, but also when there are emotions included, the students tend to remember things better. Well, the creativity as a competence is needed now. I mean, the world of work is changing very fast, and what do the employees claim? They are really looking for employers that are creative, because a lot of the routine work soon will the robots replace. They will be able to do this kind of work, but they won't be able to be creative. So this is something that is, the human specific. So you also help your students to be needed at the labor market if you help them to develop their creativity. The creativity empowers the clients, because if they are engaged in the process, really, if they link the outer information with their inner world, they are more active in the process, they will to act, they feel empowered, and they also feel they are responsible for their own lives. This is what we really need. So they feel strongly motivated to do something, not just wait as a passive sheep until someone helps me again, until someone gives me an advice. So, and I promised you to experience an activity. So now it's time for that. What you will need for the activity is just to have a piece of paper and a pen. So please, could you take it? And don't be afraid. I understand some of you might be shy, but you won't, show this activity to anyone if you won't like it. It's absolutely voluntary. It's just you can try it and just keep it for yourself. Are you ready for that? Yes, great, thank you. Thank you very much for your cooperation. So what is the creative writing about? It's an activity you can easily do with anyone. You don't need any training for that. But it's a good way where to start when you would like to include the creativity in your daily work. So after some time, firstly, I will explain the rules, and then I will tell you a question. And when I tell you the question, you'll start writing. You will have 5 minutes for writing. I'm the one who's going to check the time. And what is purpose of it is just to switch the rationality off for the next 5 minutes. And it's just about a spontaneous writing. Yesterday I was sitting in the park behind the hotel, and I was observing small kids playing in the park. And I realized that they're just, running from place to place with no actually plan, with no purpose. There was no reason why they're doing this. They were just enjoying the present time. So this is what I would like to ask you for the next 5 minutes. Just enjoy the present, and don't worry what will happen in next couple of minutes or something. So the rules are, be honest in the writing, because no one will read the text, really, I promise. It's just you who will read the text later. So please write down on the paper what is really going on in your heads. The purpose of the creative writing is just let's try to connect your hearts with your hands and switch the brain off. Switch the rationality off. So just write down what is really on your mind. I think that very, very rarely our heads are really empty. There are always some thoughts. And maybe they do not seem to be connected with the question I will raise later. Don't worry about that. Just write down what is really, really in your heads. The text does not need to be logical. So please, if you are, used to write some, applications and other logic things, forget it. You don't need to structure it. Do not like bullets or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it should be like linear text. Just write what is in your hand. No worry if it's not logical. And please do not stop writing. Even if you think there's no more what you should write, you might at some period, you might realize that, oh, I don't know what to write next. Don't worry about that, you write down, you can write, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, doesn't matter. Just write something until I will say stop. And yes, write everything and do not try to structure the text. Am I clear about this? Does everyone know what to do? Yes. Great, so let's start. Prepare your hands, prepare your pens and your papers. And my question is, what brings joy to your life? Let's start writing. So you can stop now. Thank you. was it? How did you enjoy? Did it work? How about your hands? Yes, we are not trained, you know, when we are using computer too much, our hands are not used to writing. So, this is the way how to try to get to our intuition, you know, to switch off the rationality. Shivon was, before the lunch, talking about the critical writing, and you can either do the critical writing by the ordinary logical writing, like a diary or something, planning what I'm going to write. But also you can use this way of critical writing. I mean, just to try to invite your unconscious self to have some voice. Because, you know, the creativity is kind of bridge between the conscious and unconscious self, between rationality and intuition. And this is one of the ways how to get there. But don't expect that our unconscious self will give us like a clear message. Don't expect that I think that rarely can happen that in your text will appear something like, you should leave the job, or you should go to that school. It's not like that. What has to follow is to find the key words, the messages in it, and try to understand, because our unconscious selves communicates with us in symbols. So now what you are going to do is to look at the text again and try to just read it and try to find what important, interesting, surprising might be there. So just take the pen again and try to underline what you yourself find like important. Might be when you see there's some kind of repetition, so you, for example, there's word that is repeating in the text, or if there are some like strong words or emotions, there might be horrible or lovely or things like that. So if there's if there are emotions included, this also might be an important message for you. Or if you see there are like strong words like always or never. So let's look into your text and check it if there's something interesting for you, some interesting words. Just underline if you notice anything important for you. So, did you manage to read your text? Are you ready? No, it's sometimes hard to handle with a big group, but if you will try this activity with your students, you should ask them what happened, how do they feel? So how do you feel? Did you find something important? Just raise your hands if there was something. Yeah. Yeah. Something surprising. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my question was, what brings joy to your life? So if you find in your text something that is, you know, important according to your joy, you should follow the message. So this is also, you should do something with this. And I think Shivon also mentioned the meaning of the words, because even if there are some words we or you all speak one language, I do not, but if we speak one language, still the words are something very subjective. The words, the meaning of the words is connected very much to our context. So I guess that even if there were the same words in all your texts, your meanings might be different. So again, the bridge between the conscious and unconscious, bridge between the rational and intuition is, let's try to understand what the meaning of the words is. So this is the way how you can help your students to understand what is the message about. So just leave the students after this activity or similar activity, leave them to just reflect what was there, what kind of words, and what is meaning of the words. I mean, if there's, for example, success, so I would ask, what means success to you? How do you perceive success? How can you recognize you are successful? When you are successful and when you're not? So what success means to you? When, for example, for the last time you experience a success. So this kind of question, you should ask the students to be able to understand better what kind of message their intuition sends to them. So I would like to just use, like, let's say 2 minutes to ask somebody who probably sits behind you, because I can't ask you the whole audience, so maybe we can use just 2 minutes to talk to somebody you would like to talk. So let's share with your neighbors if you find something important in your text, or what was it about. So let's share it. Thank you, thank you. So let's continue. Thank you for sharing. So how was it? Did you notice any difference? You're still engaged in the process, aren't you? Did anyone notice any difference between just underlining and discussing? This is also something I would recommend to do with the activity. When I mentioned that after each activity you should reflect, this is it. So try to help your students or clients to talk about this, because there's really a huge difference between just thinking and trying to formulate it aloud. But sometimes the topics are really private, so just to keep your clients or students in safety environment, I would recommend to let them just to, share the content of the process just with someone. They can work in pairs or just small groups, because sometimes you experience it too. Sometimes it's really difficult to share ideas in the big audience, so just let's prepare to the students like more safe environment. So this is what you can do, and at the end of the process, after experiencing this, you can ask the students whether there was something interesting for them or not, and they can just collect the information, and then you can continue in this activity in another way, or just to combine this with the rational ones, you know. What else I brought just to show you I'm working with are the cards. And so if you don't like working with words, or if you would like to do some follow-up activity, you can use the cards. I brought some, it's called Dixit. Do you know it in Serbia? The Dixit game. Is it here too? Yeah. Because originally it's a game for kids. And actually in the Czech Republic you can buy it in any toy shop, so that's why I'm asking. But the cards are really wonderful. And they are kind of storytelling cards. And they are like beautiful images. And I can just leave it on the table and you can look at it later. And it's about story. And this is another way how to include the creativity like very fast. You don't need also to prepare anything. You don't need to know how to draw. You just take the cards. You can spread them on the table and ask the students to pick some. And you can raise, again, a question. Might be also what brings joy to your life, because this might be connected to your profession, of course. And the students just pick random, or I just did it randomly, but the students pick, you know, card, what suits the most to the question. So here's a picture, there's a dragon and princess safe, you know, she's like helping somebody to get out of the mouth. And the student can start talk about the picture. So student can, for example, mention, or I can mention, well, I like when I can, you know, rescue somebody from dragon's head. So this brings me always joy when somebody is happy like this. And while I'm talking about the card, about the story, at some time I realize that I'm talking actually about my own life. And then you can find a connection, what's the similarity between this picture and my real life. So, for example, my own life is really connected to helping the people, so it really brings me a joy. So, it might be useful for my story. So, this is also the way how can you use the creativity. Of course, there might be a lot of questions. For example, yes. For example, if you would like to use this creative writing activity or cards activity in your daily practice, you can ask questions like this. What could I teach someone else? It's about what I'm good at. Or what do I like to talk people about? I mean, what is my topic? What I like, you know, talking about. Or what do I like to read or watch videos about? So what I'm really interested in. When it's not for school, when I have a free time, what do I read? Or what kind of videos? What are they about? What do I watch? What kind of people do I like? It's also connected to profession, because always, you know, in the profession you meet certain people. If you are a teacher, you meet probably majority of your colleagues are teachers, of your friends also. So what kind of people would I like to meet regularly? What do people most often ask me for when they need help? This is also a very important question, because sometimes the kids do not know what they are good at. But if you ask them this kind of question, they realize, oh yeah, often they ask me to, for example, translate something into English. Does it mean that I'm better than they are? Yeah, maybe yes. There must be a reason why they are asking me for this. Or how do I see my future, or any others? So this is just small example I'm able to, you know, show you in this big audience. What kind of creative activities, or how to work with this? You can also include a different kind of arts, like movement. It can be like, it does not necessarily have to be dancing, but it can be just, you know, walking in the room. For some reason, our brains just work differently. If you just sit and talk, and if you walk and talk. So there is something happening in your brains. And if you do from time to time this, it also can just help the kids to formulate the ideas. Also, you can work with the visual art. You can, for example, ask kids to make a collage. It can be also connected to any question actually you need to raise, to ask. So you can ask kids, for example, can you create a collage or draw a picture? How do I see my future? And then, but after this activity, you should ask the students, how was it? What did you realize? What did you like? What you didn't like? And things like that. And just let them to understand what is the message behind the symbols, behind the visualization. So this is some of the samples, but you can also include the drama. Also, the Sarah story I told you in the beginning of my presentation can be made as an activity in the classroom, and I did it with kids. You can ask the classroom, you can tell a story, but you can adapt it to your needs. The story can be different. It depends on which context you work in. And you can ask the group to divide into 2 groups, and somebody to volunteer to be a Sarah, and the rest of the people can split, and one group is for yes, Sarah, leave, and the next group is no, Sarah, stay at school. And the kids or the people can just make 2 rows, like 2 walls, just standing like this, one by one, and a Sarah can just walk through the walls, and the people can shout one by one, very slowly as Sarah walks, the sentences, so they are somebody, like I'm grandma. Oh, Sarah, please, I need your help professionally, you know, my joints are painful, or something like that. Oh, Sarah, leave the school, it's boring, and things like that. So, and once Sarah is walking, it's really strong experience, trust me. Shivon, you did it. So it's really, and you can really experience how is it. And after this, you can just, change the roles, and then you can start the discussion. How was it? And how do you think your environment is influencing you? And what can you do? Did you like it or not? And what can you do with that? So you can discuss this topic with the students too. So this was very briefly about the creativity. My last recommendation is that the positive atmosphere is really needed when you include the creativity in the process. And yes, here are some resources. So if you'd like to read more, I think the presentation will be here. So you can later just read the books or find them. And this is it. I would like to thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'm here. I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Helena. I will now open the floor for discussion. Imamo pripremljen mikrofon kao i prošli put, tako da ukoliko vas je ovo podstaklo kao metod da postavite i neko konkretno pitanje Heleni u vezi sa njenim načinom rada ili na koji način ona to primenjuje, budete slobodni ili uopšte bilo šta, bilo koje drugo pitanje je dobrodošlo, tako da izvolite. Imamo ovde pitanje.
If you use a creative writing method for, career as a subject, as a theme, what question do you use? What question do you set?
Sorry?
Should I be louder? Yeah, should I speak louder?
Yes, I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. So if you use creative writing as a method, which question do you ask your students in the context of career guidance? Do you ask them the same question, what brings you joy?
No. It really depends on context. Often I use, for example, the cards when I have the one-to-one session. And when a student comes, it can be when he or she starts talking about his current situation, I can ask him, well, before we start talking, can you just find a picture that suits the most to your current situation so we can better understand the current situation? Or if I need to talk about the future, I ask, well, can you find a picture, where would you like to be in like 5 years or something like that? So it really depends what's the purpose of the discussion. And also when I'm working with the group, it depends on the age, because I experience this with like 9-year-old kids as well as the adults. So it really depends what the issue is. So, yeah.
Thank you. And it was about Dixit cards, the use of Dixit cards. But do you use creative writing method, the exercise that you gave to us? And then you asked us what brings you joy in life.
I'm sorry, I really can't hear you.
Okay. Method, can you say it to her, please?
She asked about creative writing.
Yeah.
Do you use that creative writing method, and what questions you ask for career guidance?
Yeah, I do use the creative writing because I think it's the most easy. That's why I also invited you to try that. I think it's the most easiest way how to start with the creativity. It's even for people who don't like drawing and things like that, they are not afraid of creative writing. And also the questions differ. I mentioned some of the questions in my presentation, but also it can be really open. It can be just, let's write for 10 minutes. And because there does not necessarily have to be a question, it's really up to you. But sometimes also the timing is different. So you can either ask them just to write for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but you can also give them sequence of like 10 different questions and give them like 2 minutes for each question. It depends on what kind of people, how old are they? You know, the kids, like small kids, are not able to write like for more than 5 minutes, but the adults might be able to do that. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Da li imamo još neko pitanje? It seems that we don't have questions at the moment.
So thank you very much. And I'll be here until the end of the conference, so feel free to ask me during the break. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Helena. Čini mi se da je ovo bila aktivnost koja je onako mogla da nas malo, i na tome smo zahvalni Heleni, što nas je malo pomerila možda iz onog uobičajenog, logičkog, kako je ona upravo pričala o tome, načina razmišljanja, i da za trenutak probamo neku drugu metodu. Nadam se da ovako nešto može da vas inspiriše za rad sa vašim učenicima, vašim korisnicima. Svi koji se bavimo karijernim vođenjem i savetovanjem znamo da su negde aktivnosti samospoznaje jako važan segment i da je jedan od važnih koraka karijernog vođenja i savetovanja jeste samospoznaja i prepoznavanje sopstvenih i interesovanja, i veština, i sposobnosti, i osobina ličnosti, i to jeste prvi korak. Dobro upoznati sebe jeste prvi korak ka daljem putu i donošenja odluka i dobrog informisanja, odnosno i pravovremenog i smislenog informisanja o tome šta su karijerne opcije i šta su mogućnosti.